I have no idea if this is finally working. Um, it says it is, so that's a good sign. Let me go to youtube.com and see if it's actually live. Tum, tum, tum. Oh, it says live now. That's a good sign. Cool, and it's broadcasting 1080 as well. That's good. Right. Aha! Indeed, aha. Um, so, yay! Okay, we have working thing, which is very exciting. For some reason, hi Colin. Um, for some reason, YouTube decided that I had to reset the key 3 times for it to work. Thanks, YouTube. Really love your work there. Um, yes, streaming software is difficult. It's ironic as well because the workshops people are like, "Hey, do you want to use Zoom?" And I'm like, "No, no, no. I'll just stream directly to YouTube. It'll be easy. It'll be fun." It was not easy. It was painful. But yes, we are live. Um, cool. So I'll give it a few minutes for people to come in. In the meantime, I'm going to ask a question. Uh, what's one awesome thing that's happened? What's one good thing that's happened to you in the last week? Tell me about your lives in while we wait like 2 minutes for people to come along. What's one cool thing that's happened to you in the last week? Tell the class. So the question for you guys is, what is a cool thing that's happened to you in the last week? Dun, 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 dun. Wonder if I can went to B-sides. That was pretty cool. Assignment 2. Is starting assignment 2 a cool thing that's happened in the last week? I guess it is a bit cool. I rate that. Oh, that's loud. There you go. Yeah, B-sides was cool. I went to B-sides. I got healthy after being sick. Yeah, that is a certified cool moment. I do agree with you there. Um, cool. Uh, anyone else? How was B-sides? Did anybody else go to B-sides? What was a good part of B-sides? Also, what is B-sides for those who are, if you want to explain? Not terrible. It's true. Cool. Right. Okay, well, we're going to get started now, given we've got a few people here. So, what are we doing today? So today we're going to do a workshop called Leveling Up Your Setup. For those of you who haven't met me, hello, my name is Shrey. I'm one of the co-presidents of CSCSOC, and I managed to convince them to letting me do this. But the aim of today is not to me to indoctrinate you in all the things that I like, but it's to guide you through how you can actually overcome the common pitfalls that come when you try to customize your setup. And your setup meaning anything. Yeah, so Kayla's talking about B-Sides. B-Sides is really cool. B-Sides is a security conference in Canberra. And so a bunch of people went down, which was really fun. But yeah, so today we're going to be doing essentially a workshop on how to like make your setup pretty. What are some common things that you hear people talking about? What are all these common words that everyone talks about, but you don't know what they mean? And then we're going to go through a lot of interactive examples of like messing around with things and playing with things. There's going to be a few times where I do things from scratch, so things are going to break. And an important lesson today is going to be wasn't an announcement with the link. That is a great idea. That sounds like something we should do. Hey, I might do that now. Hi, Michael. Can you put an announcement with a link in Discord? Apparently, that is something that should happen. Yeah, so today we're going to go through a bunch of different examples. It's going to be really interactive, so feel free to follow along if you'd like. But I'm not tech support, so if you do break something, post in the Discord and I can help you afterwards, but probably not during the talk. But yeah, so first thing I want to sort of like understand, I guess, where people are coming from is hopefully I should be able to post this right. If you go to that, there should be a a Slido. So if you have any questions, or there's also a poll currently running. So I want to know like what operating system are you guys using? What operating system is everyone using? Just so I can sort of go from there to see where everyone's at. So I'll give it like 30 seconds for the poll, and then I'm just going to speed ahead through. Just so, oh cool, we got some votes there. It's nice. Cool. A bit of everything it looks like. Right, a bit more Windows. Cool. Right, so it looks like Windows is predominantly the favorite here, likely because WSL is so awesome, and VS Code and stuff is so awesome. But I'm going to show you a bunch of things that are all Linux based, but you will be able to do a bunch of them also in your in your terminal for Windows, because WSL sort of emulates a lot of Linuxy stuff, and similar with Mac. So this is cross-platform. I want to also note, if I say any big scary words that I don't explain, I'm going to try and catch myself out and try to explain everything. But if I ever say anything that you don't understand the word, what it means, or also if I do anything like, if I press a key combination that you don't understand, like what did I just do? How did I do that? Feel free to ask. I want this to be interactive. Usually we do workshops through Zoom, but I'm trying to do it through YouTube today. So I have the chat open in my other monitor to check that things sort of work. So yeah, so please call me out if there's things that I don't explain. But yeah, so we're going to go from something like this, which is the default. So when we first open VLab, right, your first sort of experience with computing at UNSW, your terminal looks like this, right? You type in ls, which is, list things, list stuff, and you get a bunch of output, right? And it's gross. It's white. The font is usually a lot uglier than this. The background of the terminal is usually a lot uglier than this. And yeah, so it's a bit ugly, right? But the point of today's talk is that you can actually get something like this, right? Where you have nice terminals with pretty status lines at the bottom. You can have like all these different terminal tools. So like you can have a Spotify, you can have a YouTube player, you can have a sound audio interactive thing or editor. You can have stuff at the top. You can have like this tiling system. So how can we sort of do all that, and essentially how can you get involved in customizing your setup to be the best that it can be, I guess, in your sort of eyes. So with that being said, let's jump straight into it. And I think this should, right. So on my screen right now, I've got two terminals. They're exactly two colors, foreground and background, true. On my screen, I have two terminals. So this left one is my current terminal, so what I'm using. We're going to focus purely on this right terminal, and this is usually what most people have. Now, this is a brand new user on my computer. So I made a brand new user, I've done no setup. And for context, I'm using, this currently is using Ubuntu. So this is Linux. But if you open up any terminal, this should be sort of the same thing. It's not operating system dependent, right? Highlight, true, you're right. So right now, because Ubuntu has default sort of settings for your terminal, where it'll give you some colors, right? So if I do ls, it does some colors, right? If I do ls documents / oh, there's nothing in here because I haven't made anything. It's a new user. So, with normal terminal stuff, you can do cd documents, you can ls, you can make a directory, you can cd into the directory. Right, sorry, my bad. That's a good point. I will move my face cam because it is taking entirely up most of the command. Cool, that should be fixed now. Right, so this is a terminal. This is this is nothing new to you. You've used this quite a lot. If you've done with one, you would have seen this quite a lot. So this is the terminal is your window here, right? So when you open up terminal, this opens the window. The window then spawns the program. And this program is commonly known as a shell. And the shell, please check in top right. I've got it bottom right for now, but I think that should be fine. Cool. If it's still annoying, just message me. But yeah, so this is a terminal, right? Your terminal spawns a program, and this program is called a shell. The shell is another program that actually listens to all these commands, right? So if you run ls, your shell then executes that sort of program. And if you run cd ... your shell executes this sort of stuff. And so there are many different types of shell. To check what one we're using, we can look into our terminal's environment, or our shell's environment variable, right? So environment variables are variables in your shell that populate with certain information. So to do this, we can use what's called the echo command. So the echo command will always write something back to us, right? So if I say echo hello, it's going to say hello, right? But like with most things, you can also use variables. I can set a variable to say, a equals Shrey, and say echo $A, and you can see it'll echo my name. But there are a bunch of default preset variables that give us the information about our computer. So we want to see what shell that we're using currently, what type of shell, because there are many different types of shells. And to do that, we can go echo $shell. And it returns this really weird string here, right? So environment variables are a bunch of different variables. They're usually all in uppercase. Common ones you'll see are echo shell, echo path. You would have seen path at some point, probably. Echo, I don't know, what's some other good ones? None that I can think of off the top of my head, but there are quite a few different ones. So we can see right now that we're using a bash shell, right? When you're using VLab as well, usually we use a bash shell. It's default to use bash. So bash is a extension of what's called the Bourne shell. And I'm not going to go too much in the history of shells because that's a whole course in itself. 204 does a lot on that, and the different types and what they are. But today I'm going to talk about a different shell, and this shell is called ZSH. ZSH is a different sort of extension of the Bourne shell. So Bourne shell is just SH, and that extended to bash. But there was also another extension which went to ZSH. And obviously that's not going to work. That's supposed to be a comment. Oh no, what have I done? Thank you. So I can go echo user, echo display, which will be my monitor, so I won't really do anything. Echo editor, which I don't think is set on this. And echo term. Right, cool. So these are some preset sort of environment variables. Also, I think my chat might be a little bit delayed, which is a bit awkward. No, it says low latency. Okay. Yes. So we want to customize the bash shell, but bash is by default not the best to be customizing because it has a bunch of weird behaviors. ZSH is a different type of shell that's really useful for customization, and it has a lot of interesting, I would say in quotes, better behaviors and features than bash. So one of those, let's make a couple of directories here. Let's make the hello there world, my name is Shrey. Let's make a bunch of directories. That's ls, cool. So, right, cool, okay. That should be fine. Okay, so let's say I want to change directories into hello, right? But I'm lazy, so I'm gonna go HE and I'm gonna tab, and it does hello. Cool, it auto-completes. That's really awesome. That's a great feature. But let's say I don't remember what's in here, so I can go cd tab, and you can see it prints out all the different options. Okay, that's sort of cool. Let's have a look at what ZSH does. So this is ZSH on the left. So if I go echo $shell, you can see it's the shell is user bin ZSH. So remember, a shell is just a separate program. So if I go, cd tab, you can see it starts flicking through them, right? And this is one small thing that ZSH does, and ZSH has a bunch of these small things. So the point there is that there's different shells that different behaviors and how they do things, right? So this is just basic autocomplete where you can go cd tab, and you can see a bunch of stuff. Another one is also if I wanted to do ls of every single directory, I could do this, ls star. So star usually means it's called a glob in fancy speak, but I'm just going to call it as everything. And so it says list every directory in the current. Do an ls on every single directory in the current workspace. So if I do ls, you can see this is what we have. Ls star means go into every directory and list the stuff, right? So first of all, it lists the current directory, then it tries to list stuff in 141, then it tries to list stuff in hello, then is, then my, blah, blah, right? So this is useful. If I do it in, actually that's a bit dangerous. I don't know what's in my stuff. CD desktop. Cool. So now if I do ls star and I press tab, it expands. Here, if I do ls star and press tab, it actually does nothing, right? And this isn't, a huge bit of useful stuff. But the point here is that different shells have different behaviors, and some behaviors are better than others. Bash does a bunch of stuff that ZSH doesn't do, and ZSH does a bunch of stuff that Bash doesn't do, right? A lot of people will prefer ZSH, and in fact, on all Macs from now on, ZSH is now the default shell. There are many big advantages to using Bash as opposed to many big advantages to using ZSH, but for the purpose of this talk, I'm going to be shilling ZSH because it's very good to customize. So how do we install ZSH? We're going to try and set it up on this computer, right? I can't just do something like shell equals to user. What did we see before? The thing was echo. I can't just do $shell equals user bin ZSH because that's not going to work. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how to install ZSH. So I don't know how to do this. So I'm going to open Firefox and I'm going to Google install ZSH Ubuntu. Let's have a look. How to install and set up ZSH. Oh, this looks useful. Cool. So Ubuntu and most Linux distributions have a package manager called apt. That package manager, if you're using Mac, you'll do something like install ZSH Mac OS, right? And you can see there's a bunch of stuff here. And the answer is using something called brew. There's a terminal program called brew, which you can set up and then do brew install. If you're using Windows, you're technically using Linux, so you can still use apt, it's fine. If you're using WSL, that is. So let's try this, right? Let's do, oh, this isn't gonna work because this is not gonna work because I'm not in the, yeah, all right. Okay, let's pretend we're doing this correctly. The polling package true or false. Sudo apt install ZSH. Cool, so I've already got it installed, right? So it's not going to do anything, but usually here it installs it, right? But it doesn't do anything, right? If just because I've installed it doesn't mean that my shell automatically changes, right? So how do we switch shells? How do we tell our terminal what shell to run in future? I don't know. Let's Google it. How to switch shells. I'm sort of leaking my search history here. Hey. All right, let's figure out what does this thing do? Changing a shell with CHSH. Okay. There's a command called CHSH. Oh, I don't know what that does. If only there's a way I can look at the documentation for a program. There's a thing called the man pages, and so many of you who have done 152.1 will be very exposed to this. But there's a manual for almost every command. If you're man ls, you would see that there's a manual for all of ls and all the different options it has. For example, if you want to do ls with a tab size of a specific thing, you could set it. If you want to do a certain alphabetical sort, you could do that. So let's look at the manual page for CHSH. This is useful. CHSH, change login shell. Blah, blah, the change, blah, blah, changes the user's shell. Cool, this is what we're trying to do. We want to change the ZSH. So how do we use it? Mad3. Right, so usually they have like an example section. They don't have an example section, so I'm going to keep looking at this website. And it just says, right, okay, so it says all of the installed shells are installed here, usually for Linux. So I can go cat /etc/shells. And you can see these are all the installed shells that I have. There's a bunch of them. Remember we talked about this one was one. We talked about bash as one. You can see there's a few different variations of bash. We're not going to go into too much about what those are, or if they're the same or different. Dash is one that you'll see a lot in 204.1, given that you have to rewrite a whole assignment. You have to rewrite Git in Dash, and it's quite fun. And ZSH is one we want, right? So let's call CHSH. Let's enter in my password. And it says, enter the new shell that you want to use. So we're going to use /bin. Let me just double check what it is. We want to use /user bin ZSH. Cool. So now if I go echo shell, it's still bash. That's really strange. Why is it still bash? And the answer as to why it's still bash is simply because we haven't restarted our terminal, right? It's still holding the old stuff. So let's close the terminal. And let's open just ignore everything. This is just my setup. Oh, you can't really see that. Hey. Okay. that's weird. I don't know why. Okay. So let's open our terminal again, which is just this. Oh, that's not it. It's this one. Right. So right, so we've just opened our terminal after installing ZSH, and it comes up with this big menu, right? This is the Z shell configuration. Oh, cool. Thanks, Shank. I didn't know that you could. Right, cool. So once we restart our terminal, it says, all right, this is the configuration wizard for new users. You'll see this message because you have no configuration files for your ZSH stuff, right? So here are options. We can quit, exit, continue to the main menu, or do a thing by our system administrator. See, I don't have a system administrator to manage my stuff for me, so let's go with option number 1, which is going to continue to the main menu of setup. Cool. Please pick one of the following options. And so there's a bunch of different setup options, right? So let's just go into configure settings for history. Cool. Okay, let's press 1 again. History configuration. So what is history? When we run something like ls, and we go up, you can see that it's going through a bunch of the stuff that I've done in past with ls. So in the bottom right corner of my screen, you can see this is my current terminal, and I can go through all the commands I've done in past, right? This is what's called our history file, right? If I go echo, I think history, no, where is a history file? Okay, so if I do sh_history. Cool. So if I show you my history file, this is all the stuff that I've done recently, right? So this setup is asking us, what do you want to do with the history file? So let's change the history file. Number of lines of history kept within the shell. Let's just set to 1,000. Let's set number 2 to be, history file. You can see here that I've changed my history file name to be ZSH history, but this setup wizard, we can just call it hist file. And 3, we can just set to be defaults. So let's do 0 to return. Let's just leave the rest of the stuff because they're not really relevant. Ignore. Right, how do I quit? Exit, send the new savings. 0. Cool. Right, so this is ZSH. And you might be thinking, what the heck, Shrey? This is worse. Our old bash was at least colorful. Yeah, look, my shell history isn't that bad. So you might be thinking, this is worse. What the heck? And we can see which we've done our shell, but it's now uglier, right? All the colors we had is gone. The stuff we had is gone. Like, this is terrible. And yeah, this is correct. This is because this is the default shell stuff that ZSH does, and there's nothing here. So we want to customize this, right? So let's look up how to customize ZSH. So we want to be able to customize our ZSH configurations to be colorful and pretty. So if we Google it, we come across this thing called OhmyZSH. OhmyZSH is a sort of a package manager for ZSH, and it's also a theme manager for ZSH. So it'll let you install a bunch of plugins and packages, and also a bunch of themes as well. So this is cool. Let's have a look at some of the examples here. Let's have a look at some of the themes. Okay, they also look the same to me, but you can have some like this. You can have some like this, like nice colors and some cool icons. This looks better, right? This looks cool. Why? Let's do this. Let's try and do this for now. Cool. So I want to figure out how to install this. How do I install this? All right. Blah, blah, blah is installed by one of the following commands. Right. So it's telling me copy and paste this command into my terminal and run it. So a note on security. Usually it's really bad or frowned upon to just copy a script and run it, right? Because I have no idea what this is doing, right? I know that the curl command will download a script from a link. So in this case, this script, and the sh command is going to run that script, right? So let's have a look at what this script is, right? So I can copy and paste. What I did there was I copied and pasted the link it was going to download, and I put it in my browser and I looked at it, right? So, I should check that this script isn't trying to hack me, which it shouldn't. Like, I do trust these guys, but usually you want to look through and make sure they're not doing anything weird. The not like changing anything to do with your sudo or anything to do with like your user stuff. And like, yeah, usually I just do it, right? Like I say this, but usually I just like blindly just copy and paste it in here. And oh, that's weird. My copying and pasting isn't working. Why can't I paste? Why can't I Control V? As you would have found with, if you've used a terminal before a lot, to paste into a terminal, you simply just copy using Control C, but most of the time you have to paste using Control Shift V, right? So let's run this and let's just sit back and let it do its thing. Oh, wow, that was so easy. All of a sudden we have colors again. We have some... Now it's actually I know how to check the script is bad. Don't call me out like that. But yeah, so now we have colors. We have some cool stuff, right? But like, isn't this like the same as Bash? Like, what was the point of all of that if it's just the same sort of stuff as Bash? And like, yeah, you're right. Like, this is pretty much the same. So let's customize it even further. Let's use one of these themes. So blah blah. Please look at the ZSHRC file. Blah 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 blah. No, I'm not going to do that. So let's look at the theme section. So in order to figure out how to do this, literally you can just Google oh my ZSH change themes. Oh, look, a themes page on the wiki for oh my ZSH. Oftentimes, when you want to change things, you have to spend some time just like Googling a lot, right? And that's the sort of one of the points I'm trying to teach you guys in this workshop is that you're going to have to go through things like the GitHub repository, and maybe you have to look at an issue. Maybe you have to look at like how somebody fixed one of their bugs, or maybe you have to look at one of the pull requests and see how they fix one of their bugs. Oftentimes you won't. Oftentimes just like in the documentation. So for this example, we're going to change a theme. In order to enable a theme, set ZSH_theme to the name of your theme in whoa, what is going on? Okay, so to explain, this is a file. Right? You may remember that this is called a tilde or tilde. Tilde is probably a tilde, right? Tilde is short for your home directory. So if I go cd home, you can see I'm here. If I go cd documents / solutions / blah blah, and then I go cd home, it goes back to home, right? I read the script before running it is. I read the script for running his command line of saying, I read the privacy policy. Yeah, that's exactly right. Except usually the privacy policy doesn't change things on a computer. So people are a little bit more scared. And so, yeah, so tilde means your home. The .zshrc file, tilde, okay, cool, is a file that we have. So when you do ls, you notice that you can't see this file, right? Why can't I see this file? ls by default doesn't show hidden files. If I go ls-a, you can see a bunch of hidden files, right? I don't know what half of these are. Comp dump sounds interesting. Profile and stuff like I know what some of these are, but it says that I should look at the ZSHRC file. So let's open something like vim.zshrc. Oh, no, wait. Okay, I don't have Vim on this computer. That's a bit of a yikes. Okay, I do have this editor. Cool. Oh, so what I did there was Control L will reset it'll like reset your terminal. So I do a bunch of stuff. It won't reset, it'll just like clear it. If I do Control L, it clears the terminal. Not reset, reset's a different thing. And it does that by outputting exactly the amount of white space it needs to get to the top, which is quite funny. So I did ls-a, I can see ZSHRC. So let me open this file up in my terminal editor. Now there's a bunch of different editors you could use. You could even do something like code if you want to open VS Code. But for now, because we're becoming terminal hackers, I'm going to use a terminal editor called Micro. Micro is one of my favorite editors because it's an editor that just makes sense to me. It's not as powerful as a bunch of other stuff, but it just has things like Control C for copy, Control S for save, Control Q for quit, Control O for open, a bunch of other stuff. I do have Ed installed, but I'm going to use Micro. So micro.zshrc will open the file, and cool. So they've got a bunch of stuff in here. Let's see what this is. So export the path, blah, blah, don't really know what that does, hey. This looks interesting, ZSH theme. Set the name of the theme to load. If set to random, it'll load a random theme each time, in which case you can check which one's loaded, or you can set your own theme. There's a bunch of other stuff like case sensitive, hyphen insensitive, auto updates, magic functions, disable ls colors, I don't know where disable a bunch of stuff, enable correction. Let's turn that on. That looks cool. Uncomment that, and do Control S to save. Blah, blah, blah. Plugins. We'll get to plugins in a second. Cool. So let's go with this. And so we want to change the theme. So does anyone want to pick a theme from the website? Like, I'm literally going to pick the first one from this website that somebody posts. Pick a theme, any theme. No one's pick a theme? Oh wait, it's probably my delay, hey. Wait, why can't I hear my music? That's interesting. Oh, now I can. Somebody pick a theme for me. Awesome Panda. Yeah, just saying you're right. It would be really awesome if they actually explained what this sort of stuff is. Like, what is auto enable correction? What does it do? How does it work? How does it impact your performance? For the most part, I ignore it because like I'm on a machine where it doesn't really matter about performance. But yeah, I think Cameron was the first one to do Awesome Panda. So we're going to set our theme to Awesome Panda. So the documentation says set the name of the theme to load. If set to random, it'll load a random theme. So I think we just got to copy and paste in Awesome Panda. Control S to save, Control Q to quit. So how do we restart? Because clearly it's not changed the theme, right? The theme is the same. Why is the theme the same? Whenever we change stuff in our shell, we need to restart somehow. There's a few ways to do it. One is to go touch, which is like, oh, sorry, one is not touch. One is to go source, which is like to reload our file. So you can do this. Another way is to do something like exec and then ZSH, and that will execute ZSH. Another one, as Cameron said, is reset. I think from memory, the best one to do is exec ZSH. I remember reading some bad thing, some really long thread about it. I don't think it matters too much, but let's go with reset for now. Cool. I don't really know if this theme changed too much. Hey, Awesome Panda. How do I check the theme? Awesome Panda. Looks fine. Reset doesn't do that? Okay. That would probably be why. Let's go source. No. Okay. Oh, do I have to So, oh, that is very loud in my ears. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, why the theme isn't loading. You can see that when we echo ZSH theme, it's working. It might just be that the theme is very similar in place. As in just saying ZSH theme equals to Awesome Panda. Doesn't seem to be doing much. Let's actually, I know we can check this. We can go cd documents, ls, and then we can go cd one for solutions, git. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we did actually change the theme because the git stuff is showing, although it's slightly different colors. Actually, maybe we didn't change the theme. I don't know. I don't know why this isn't working. What if we just kill it? This is a really good teaching moment. Awesome Panda install oh my ZSH. Hashtag theme. I think it might be a good idea. If let's try. What was the one that said? I think Aussie Geek. All right, let's try Aussie Geek. Micro. So again, we want to load our config file, which is ZSHRC. And we're going to change the theme to be Aussie Geek. Oops. Cool. So save it, quit it, exec ZSH. Okay, cool. So this theme works. You can see it's a very big difference. I really dislike this theme. I don't like that this is on a separate level to this. But some people would like that, right? So let's say I want to change the theme, right? Let's say I like this theme, but I don't like any other themes. I want to sort of make my own theme. Yeah, I think you're right, Gordon. I think it was a slightly slightly different. Not enough that I could see it easily. Cool. So this is clearly a different theme, and if you go echo ZSH underscore theme, you can see that it's changed. But what if we wanted to make our own theme? We want to change some of the stuff. So let's have a look. Edit theme in ZSH. I don't actually think so. If I go echo, I think Jashank, that if you change ZSH theme, it doesn't actually do anything because ZSH theme is only loaded when we relaunch a ZSH shell. So if I go ZSH theme equals to, I think it's like Bobby Russell is a common one. It doesn't actually do anything. Although it does change the variable, but the variable is not used unless for startup. Cool. Okay. Yeah, Sunny, this is all recorded. So feel free to dip if you need to. So I want to edit this theme. And one of the things I want to edit is I want to edit this this sort of left-hand side. This sort of left-hand side is usually called PS1. So I go echo PS1. You can see it's got a bunch of stuff. Bold blue, followed by some stuff with git prompt, whatever that means, followed by some stuff and some more stuff. And if I go into, let's see if I can go into documents, solutions, see it's got some more stuff there. I want to edit this, right? So let's look up how to edit PS1 ZSH. Oh my ZSH. Yes, if you're not using ZSH, you can use I think something called prompt. There's a variable called prompt, and so you can look up how to change that. But cool. So this is a Stack Overflow thing that looks useful. How do I change my PS1 on blah blah for my ZSH? Cool. He says echo PS1 gives this sort of information. That's what we had as well. We have a bunch of garbage. So this response is giving us a bunch of information. Tell your prompt, you don't need to edit a prompt variable. Oh, sorry, you edit the prompt variable inside the theme. Okay, so the themes are stored in this directory. So let's move to this directory. So cd tilde slash dot oh my ZSH. So I did O then tab there. There was a ZSH command called prompt. I think it says variable. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. There is a thingamajig. There's the different things to oh my ZSH. You're right. So let's go to oh my ZSH slash and we can go through tab to a bunch of them until we hit themes. Make a shift tab to go back up one, and press enter to go to it. And you can see here that our directory path has changed. So let's go ls. Oh, that's a bunch of stuff. So we want to edit our theme name thing. So our theme name, we can go echo $theme. Oh no, it's ZSH underscore theme, right? Cool. We changed this, didn't we? I think it was Aussie Geek. So it's micro Aussie. So I just typed in there micro A and then tab, and and I can go through a bunch of them until we find the one that we want, which is Aussie Geek. Let's change this, and here we go. Here's the prompt variable, right? So let's say we wanted to change something here. Here I've got a bunch of stuff. I don't know what this means. So let's have a look at what this means. So ZSH, oh my ZSH prompt variables. Because this is what this is, right? Oops, that is not what I meant to do. Did I break that? No? That was already there. Okay, cool. Because if you saw before, and I'll switch over here, we've got test at my computer's name colon the current directory, right? So I'm assuming that's what this is, right? You've got something at something colon something, right? So this is some sort of variable. So I can presume that n means user, m means actual computer. Let's have a look at this. And I'm not sure if this is going to work at all, but let's have a look. Blah, 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 battery, SSH, theme, custom theme, prompt. This isn't very useful. Add emoji to prompt. Okay, let's do that. Emojityper.com. And let's put instead of doing, so it says test at Shrey blah blah. So I'm presuming that this %m is just going to be my machine name. So instead of doing that, let's do an emoji. Let's do, whoa, okay, there's not what I wanted to do. Let's do party. I'm not sure this is going to work. Let's save it. Let's quit, and let's exec.sh. Cool. And we've changed our prompt, right? We've added some things, right? So you can, this is a small change, obviously. You can do bigger changes as well. Like if you looked at, if you found up some more documentation, you can probably find out what all these, you can find out what all these sort of variables are, right? I know some people who hate all of this and they just want a simple dollar, which is fair. You can do that if you want to, without, prompt customization is just one part of why MSSH is good. Let's look into another part, which is plugins, right? You might have noticed before, so this is the bottom terminal is my computer. If I type in ls, you'll notice that there's an autocomplete thing here, right? So I go ls, blah, blah. I can go, PS1 generator. That's probably a thing. There's some good stuff here. This is really useful. Thanks, Gordon. If you do a bunch of this stuff, you can look at how to generate some good prompts. I didn't even know this existed. That's really useful. So let's look at some of the other plugins I have. So I've got autocomplete on. You notice that when I type ls in this terminal, it's just bar, it's just white. If I do echo, it's just white. If I do the wrong thing, it's still also white. And notice this is our autocomplete thing that we did before. I've typed it incorrectly, so it says, do you want to correct echo to echo? I'm going to say yes. Or I can probably say, if I do this, it says N, Y, A, or E. I'm assuming that's no, yes, always, and exit. There's not really very good documentation on this. I'm just going to say A and see what that does. Okay, I don't really know what that does. Cool. So some more plugins that we could use. What other plugins do I have? I remember. Oops, no. Let's have a look at the plugins that I have in here real quick. Wow, that's a lot of plugins. Oh, right. Right. Okay, cool. So some of the plugins that I have, so you notice before when I type ls, it's white, but here it's green. This is syntax highlighting, so I know that if I've done something wrong, it's going to be, red. I can go back and fix it. Small visual things that help like that. I also have one called Z. Z, I believe, is a ZSH plugin that I go Z and then something that I usually go to. So an example, my networks course, I can go Z and the folder name. Z midsection expansion from CSS. Thank you, Shane. Yes, so if you're looking for documentation things, it's really easy to just like Google stuff and play around. So if we just like looked at what Jashank says, if you just paste that in Google, that's not what I wanted to paste. We just paste that in Google. You can probably have a bunch of stuff. Here we go, expansion, blah, blah. So here's some prompt characters, and here's all the variables that we're talking about. So %m machine name, that was what we're talking about. So that's good. And there's a bunch of variable names you can use in your prompt to calculate stuff. So if you wanted to do, I don't know, the number of jobs running in the background, that's sometimes a useful thing. If you have a bunch of jobs running in the background, if you're doing a lot of sysadmin stuff and you're running scripts and whatnot in the background to do things, sometimes this is really useful. I think, Jashank, you have something like this running on your prompt, which is the number of jobs running in the background. Things like date and time, things like a bunch of stuff. So I paste this link here in case anyone wants to look into it more. But yeah, that's really cool. A good point to note there is that you can Google a lot of things and just troll documentation. So another plugin that I had was Z, and I can go Z of like, comp 3 on 3 on, and it will automatically, okay, JK, that doesn't exist clearly. Z3131? Right. For some reason, I've named half of them comp and half of them not comp. So it will automatically CD me to that directory. I don't actually have to do CD documents / university / 2021 / 3131 and then like do that. I can just go Z straight to directory. Also, another really cool thing to do, which I might note now, if you CD some long path, if you want to go back to where you started, you can go CD and then that, and it'll take you back to where you started. I think this works on Bash as well. I don't think it's the ZSH explicit thing. I think it works across most shells. But I only learned that a few days ago, so it's quite useful. And there's some other stuff you can look into called like pushd and popd, which do similar things like that. Cool. So let's look at how we can install some plugins, because these are so useful, especially since stuff like the auto completion and the highlighting I found really useful. So let's look at some of those plugins. ZSH, I think one of them is called syntax highlighting install. Cool. Let's have a look. Oh, this looks complicated. Okay, cool. Blah, blah, blah. In your ZSHRC, simply clone this repository and source the script. Okay, so let's just like trust them completely and copy and paste this entire thing. And oops, I forgot to Control-Shift-V, press enter. And let's just let that go. This, then enable it in the current shell by doing this. Cool. And you can see now when I type ls, it's green. That's really cool. Now, this is with just ZSH stuff. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why the lag on the chat is so bad. I wish I could figure out why. But yeah, so cool. So that's one of the themes we have. Let's look at doing another plugin. You can see that plugin was really easy to install, right? Let's look at another one. ZSH Z install. And you can see here it's already in my search history. Cool, blah, blah. You can see it's got some examples there of the cool stuff it does, but I don't really care. Installation. So this looks pretty complicated. Auto load and a bunch of other stuff, blah, blah. Oh, here we go. For my ZSH users, you can execute the following command. Cool. So let's do this. And you can see there are other sort of package managers you can use. You can use stuff like Antigen, which is another similar thing to ZSH. It's another plugin manager. Every plugin manager markets themselves as the plugin manager. I'm not sure if anyone's better than the other. I just use ZSH because it seems to be quite popular, and therefore there's more support when things go wrong. So let's do this, and it says just run it. So let's do that. Let's Control-Shift-V. And then it says add ZSHZ to the line of your ZSHRC file that specifies plugins, i.e. plugins equals to blah, blah. Okay, so let's do that. Micro, which is our editor. And you can see that's green now because of our highlighting thing, which is awesome. Micro this. Let's go into our theme, our plugins, wherever it is, blah, blah. Cool, plugins. And it says we want to add ZSHZ into the end of it. ZSHZ. Cool. Let's quit. And let's exec ZSH. Cool. So let's cd to home documents. That. Let's go back home. If I go Z1511, you can see it's automatically switched us to something you can find in my history, which is one. And if you want to see that history, you can go Z-H. Oh no, you can't. Oh, that's help. Wait, how do you see the history? Oh, that's interesting. I'll list all the matches. Z-L. And you can see, yeah, these are a bunch of... Because I've only installed this once, you can only see two things. But if I go like Z-L here, you can see there's a bunch of other stuff that I can see. It's really interesting because it actually... You see these numbers? It does this weird algorithm based on how often you go to a certain thing, how it should prioritize a certain string. So if I did Z... if I did Z of... I don't know, assessment 1, it's going to start from here and look back and try and find one that's the most used, and it's going to move into here. Cool. So this is really cool. But, you know, there's... I don't know, I really like this plugin. Actually, I don't really like this theme. I'm going to look at a different theme, and this is a really cool theme, which is the one I'm using here, which is called Power level 10k. So for a fun history lesson, there was actually something called power level 9k, and power level 9k is it's another sort of theme which has a bunch of cool, interesting fonts and icons and status bars and lots of integrations, but it was so slow. It was so slow. It would impact your performance quite a lot to the point where you're waiting like 2 or 3 seconds between commands. And yeah, so this person decided, you know what? I'm sick of power level 9k. I'm gonna write my own. I'm gonna call it power level 10k. Um, to the point where power level 9k is now, if you go back to, let's go back to the link we're just at. Oops, I can't go back. Power level 9k. Power level 9k is now, I think, archived, and that was a couple months ago. Yeah. It's depreciated now because it's unmaintained, because they don't want to unmaintain software that no one uses because it's too slow. And Power Level 10k is clearly a massive improvement. So it's a theme. It emphasizes speed, and if you look at the speed, this is a really good. They've got some really good examples here about all the stuff it does. It's very fast in a lot of the things it does, and you can do a bunch of cool stuff. So you can see this. Yeah. You can see that this has a bunch of information on the right-hand side. You can customize your Power Level 10k to look like this, and they've got a bunch of really useful documentation on how to customize your stuff. And this documentation goes forever. There's so much, but it's so useful because you can really customize it. So let's install this. How do we install it? How do we install it? Blah, blah, get started. Install the recommended font. I've already done this because it's on my computer, but it's usually also okay because if you have item 2, so that's on Mac. So Macs, okay. So let's step back to Macs for a second. When you're using Mac, you're often using the terminal, the thing called terminal, right? Like there's literally a thing called. Oh, I don't have a Mac behind me. Oh, I do. Right, so when you open your terminal, this is a really bad idea because I can't see my preview. But like, this is what you have. This is a default terminal, right? That was a terrible idea. The default terminal application for Mac is actually really quite slow, and it has a bunch of errors and weird stuff that doesn't work. So a lot of Mac users will actually use something called iTerm 2. So if you haven't already, I would suggest installing iTerm 2. It's a replacement for the terminal, and there's a really good documentation of like why would you use this over terminal, and what does it have, what benefits does it have, and it has a bunch of cool stuff that's very, very, very useful. But the point there is that if you have iTerm 2, if you're doing this on Mac, it'll automatically install the fonts for you. If you're using something like Ubuntu, you might have to install the fonts manually, and Linux as well. Like you can also do this in CSE. I've done this in CSE. If I go to my VLab real quick, I'll show you. My password is Hunter42. Come on. I don't think VLab likes me today. But yeah, so installing the fonts is an important thing. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get things like the nice lines and the nice icons that you get and a bunch of stuff. VLab just doesn't like me today, it seems. Oh. Okay, it works now. Although it's dying a little bit. Anyways, we'll leave that to do its thing. So yeah, install the fonts, and it's got a bunch of information on how to install the fonts, including in VS Code, right? If you want this in VS Code, I'm going to open my VS Code off screen to make sure that I don't leak an assignment or something. Oh, good. It literally opened up my assignment on screen. So there you go. That's fixed. So, if you want something like this in the terminal, for VS Code, you have to install the fonts correctly. Otherwise, it's not going to work, and it's going to get really gross icons, and this isn't going to work. There you go. So here's what it looks like in CSE. I've done the same thing. You can see it's quite nice, although CSE is dying a little bit, which is quite entertaining. But yeah, so let's figure out how to install this and make it look nice. Cool. So blah blah. Automatic font installation. This is Docker. No. This is too confusing. Where's my install? Control F install. Install Parallel 10K using your plugin manager. Oh, we have one of those. We installed one of those, right? OMSH. Cool. Oh, is it just one command? Cool. All right. Well, let's just do the one command then. Paste that command. Cool. It's done this. It's cloned it into the themes. I think it usually says. Here we go. ZSH theme equals to power level 10K / power level 10K inside my file. So let's change that. Power level 10K / power level 10K. Save, quit, and let's go again, exec.sh. Oh, okay. So we're back in another configuration wizard. This is another power level 10K configuration wizard. You're seeing it here because you haven't defined any configuration options. It'll ask you a few questions to configure your prompt. Remember, our prompt is a thing on the left-hand side here, like this. So does it look like a diamond? Yes. Lock? Yes, this is a lock. Is this like a swirl? Yes, it is. Do they fit between the crosshairs? Yes, they do. All right, cool. So here we have some basic options. What style do we want? I was going to ask 1, 2, 3, or 4, but I realized this is actually a really like a 40-second delay on the chat for some reason. So instead of me sitting here for a minute, I'm just going to go with, let's go with rainbow. Rainbow seems fun. Character set, Unicode with the nice angles or ASCII. I'm going to go with Unicode because I like it looking fancy. Show current time. You know what? Why not? Let's do that. Let's do 24-hour format because we're crazy. What separator do we want? So you see there's a bunch of separators. There's this one, which is like an arrow, straight line, a slanted line, or a circle, like a theme image. Let's go with 4 from around. Prompt heads. Let's go with blurred because it looks terrible. And that's just gonna be funny. So 2. Prompt tail. Let's do a round prompt tail just to make this the source look quite funny. That's 5. Prompt type, 1 line or 2 lines. I'm gonna do 2 lines. Actually, no, I'm gonna hate that. So I'm gonna use 1 line. Prompt spacing, compact or sparse. Let's do sparse. Few icons or many icons? Many icons, you know, it looks pretty cute with all these icons here. Prompt flow, concise or fluent. I'm gonna do fluent. Transient prompt. So transient prompt, what this means is that when you run commands here, you can see it shows my prompt every time. You can see this stuff every time. If I don't have transient prompt, it looks like this, right? So you can only see like the arrow, like this program doesn't run correctly. So let's just say yes for transient prompt. Instant prompt mode, I have no idea what this means, so I'm just going to go with recommended. Apply changes, yes, I trust it to do that. Cool, and now I've got this really cool stuff here in the back. So cool, if I go ls, I really hate this blurred edge. Let's go to component solutions, and you can see it's got a, I'm using Git in this repository, so let's touch hello, and you can see here there's now $1. So if I go git status, I can see that untracked file is a question mark. You know, if I go git commit -m, actually no, I need to go git add my hello file, and you can see I've now got a +1, and the colors changed. If I go git commit -m, new commit, oh, I didn't do a, I'm just going to do this and hope it works. Cool. You can see there's 1 commit. The git status. Oh, git status. You can see that blah blah. If your command is wider than the space, I believe it will just like stop like this. There are some issues sometimes, like when you have a really long prompt. But I believe Parallel 10K handles that pretty well. So we noticed before. Also, this works is probably going to go over time, lol. But we noticed before that for some reason there is a plugin that we did not install called Git. So what is this plugin? So let's look it up. Oh, that's not what I want to do. ZSH. Oh my ZSH Git plugin. Let's just move that a bit lower. Git plugin. Okay, what's this? Let's have a look. Oh, this is just the source code. Cool. All right, so it's got a bunch of things here. So looks like the Git plugin has looks like the Git plugin has a bunch of aliases. An alias is simply instead of typing something like git commit -m message or git add file every time, an alias might be something like GA for git add, right? So I can just type git GA, so I can go touch my new file. Touch creates a file, as what touch does, and I can go GA for git add, M for so I can go GA, which is git add M and then tab, and then it will complete to my new file. Enter. So you can see the Git plugin has a bunch of different stuff. I don't really know what half of these mean. What git describe -tags, git reverse list, what the heck? But it looks like they've got a bunch of cool stuff that's useful. I haven't used half of these. I don't know what half of these mean, but I'm sure they might be useful. GG push. Wow, that's so many. I'm sure if you use Git a lot, this is probably more useful. I think most of the ones I use is like GC for git commit and oh, that's what I wanted to do. GCMSG. GCMSG is one that I like, so I can go GCMSG for git commit -m and then like my message. And you can see it's called the function thing before. Also ignore that. That's a bug with my computer, not MSH. Yeah, aliases are really good. It also means like you can do things like alias. I've got something called alias CSC, which allows me to SSH into CSC. I've got like a bunch of aliases, which will do stuff like this. Bunch of cool things. So for example, I'm sort of sick of typing in micro ZSHRC every time. So I made an alias that just says ZSHRC or ZSHconfig that will do that. But yeah, so this is pretty much it for like terminal customization. The next sort of part, I guess, for terminal customization is colors and like changing this more. And to do that, you just literally just look into the actual code, not the code, the documentation for MSSH, and you can change a bunch of things. There's so much. If you literally just go to here, features, customize. There was a whole thing in customization somewhere. But yeah, so you can look into that if you want to. I've seen some really cool things. Let's have a look. If you want inspiration, Google Images is a really good place to go. And you can sort of look through what other people have done. Someone's got that battery thing in there. It's pretty cool. Cool. So that's about it for basic like terminal stuff. So that's like environment. So what we've done so far is like environment variables, what they are, terminals and shells, prompts and themes. How can you actually go about doing this yourself, right? So often it's just like, oh, just read this really long article and it will tell you how to do everything. But you get to the point where you need to understand how to do things yourself and how to interpret documentation and issues and stuff like that. So that's so much for the terminal part of things. I'm going to go into a bit more. There's some really cool like programs that you can probably use, which is really cool. I had a list. Where's my list? Oops. We're now going to advanced stuff. So there's a bunch of cool tools that we can use. I'm just going to go through some of them and show you what they are and why they're cool. One of them is called lolcat. So I go lolcat, hello. Oh, really? Wait, what? How do I do? Oh, that's right. I have to do echo log some message, and I can send. So okay, if I'm going to do this example how we can use some stuff. So echo this, and you see I use this pipe thing into lolcat. So what does this mean? What is this doing? What this is doing is this is sending all of the output in this. And remember, if we just run this by itself, it just prints this to the screen, right? Instead of printing it to the screen, also known as standard output, instead of doing that, what it's going to do is going to send that information to the command called lolcat. Lolcat will take that in, and it will do its thing, and you can see it outputs some rainbow stuff. That's pretty cool. So lolcat is literally just like you man lolcat is literally a rainbow coloring for text. That's all it is. That's one of the cool command line tools. Pretty awesome, pretty fun. What you can also do is send that information into something called calsay. And calsay will do this. If you go man lolcat, there are some more examples of things you can do. Cows are popular. There's also one called fortune and toilet. I can't remember what those do. Fortune. I don't have it. Sudo apt install fortune. Yes. Oh, that's not the password. Fortune. Okay. You should go home. You will overcome the attacks of jealous associates. Wow, this is really cute. I can fortune this into calsay, and it'll send the output of fortune into this program, which the cow will say it, which is really cute. Can you pipe calsay into lolcat? Probably. Oh, I've got an example right there. Cool. There you go. How cool is that? Rainbow cow. Fortune prints some wisdom. True. There's also one called toilet, I think. Sudo apt install toilet. I haven't done this before. I haven't used toilet before. So a toilet. I know what this does. Okay. Oh, that's cool. So there was an example here that said if we send this into toilet into lolcat. Let's have a look what this says. Echo. Whoa. Okay, so toilet looks like it makes it really big, and then lolcat makes it rainbow. But then can we put that into calsay? Okay, that doesn't work very well. But that's cool. We could do fortune into toilet. You will be traveling and coming into a fortune. Wow, thanks for that. Yeah, so these are some cool things. Like, why would you ever use this? You sort of wouldn't, unless you wanted to like show off or like, you can make some commands run when you start your computer. So that'd be one thing. There's one also called Carver, which is like a music visualizer. So turn music up. You can see this. That's cool. How do you do that? How do you install that? Literally, all I did was just do Firefox install Carver, not Java. I don't install Java. Leave me alone. No. GitHub. Surely there's a repository called Carver somewhere. There you go. Console-based audio visualizer. Blah blah. Installing. I'm on Ubuntu. If you're running a big slab of French documentation, you can make it rainbow. That's pretty cool. And you can just install Carver. Carver macOS. You can probably find some way to do it. You can see there's an example here. There's an error here or something. Carver is written for Linux only, but there are probably, if you look up terminal audio visualizer OS X, you'll probably find something useful. Here you go. There's one CLI visualizer that supports macOS by the looks of it, and this also actually apparently now works for macOS. Maybe Carver does work for macOS. No, I don't want to be one of the millions of devices that Java is on. Cool. So, yeah. So Carver's one of them. What else do I have? Oh wait, where did my PowerPoint go? Oh, I think I killed my PowerPoint by accident. What was it called? What was it? Leveling. Oh no, it's down there. Wow, it's literally right in front of me. Oh yeah, true. That's a good idea, Jashank. Can you pipe a prompt to lolcat? You probably could, but I would suggest against it. But Jashank said, like, for example, when you have big headers in your assignment mark files, you can use the program to generate that. So similar to lolcat or calsay. Although really cool if you had replace all the headers as just calsay saying like your name and your mark. That'd be cool. So there's one called dynamic colors. You can look at that. Exa is a common one. So if I go ls-la, you get this thing, or ll. This is not ls. This is called exa. Exa, if you look at it, is a quote unquote modern replacement of ls, where you can customize the outputs very, very, very nicely with some really cool things. Like all good command line tools is written in Rust, and because Rust is fast and safe and a bunch of other cool stuff. But this isn't a Rust shell stream, so we'll leave that for later. But you can just install it there quite easily. X is pretty cool. In fact, I've aliased LL to be exa-l. So go LL, it has everything nicely there with the permissions and the sizes and the groups and things, dates and whatnot. X is really cool. There's one called SPT, which is Spotify TUI. So it's a terminal for your Spotify. So I can play, I don't know. Let's go into this. Oh no, there you go. And I can play a song. I don't know any of these songs. Yeah, so that's another cool terminal thing that you can set up if you want to. Spotify D is something that allows you to play music through your terminal, which is really cool. Like you don't need, for SPT to work, you need to have Spotify open as well. Unless you have Spotify D, which is like, it allows you to play Spotify through your terminal, which is really cool. Like no other thing required. Player CTL is something that's really cool as well. If I go to YouTube and leak all my stuff, if I play this song and I go, also if I play a song, you can see that, I should give them this as well. You can see the visualizer going off, which is pretty cool. I can go player CTL, pause, and it pauses it. I can go player CTL, play, player CTL next. I think also works. Maybe not on YouTube. Okay, not on YouTube. If I was in a playlist, for example, I want to go to CSX playlists and I want to go look at all the AMAs. I think I might be able to go next. Yeah, cool. So it goes to the next video. Cool. Let's say, I really don't like any of these. They're pretty bad. Yeah, these are all, really terrible things. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, well, now it's not working. And most of the time it works pretty well. So play TCL is pretty cool. And there's a big question is like, why would you want to use this? And I can just click the buttons, or I can just use my keyboard to use my next and play buttons, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hi, Mark. Why would I want to do all this through the command line? And that's a really good follow-up point to the next part, which is going to talk about, I have no slides for this. My next part, which is going to talk about customization of your entire computer. For the most part, for the last hour and a bit, we've talked about customization of your terminal. Things like you can have music visualizers, you can have Spotify, you can have like nice cool command lines, you can have aliases, you can have syntax highlighting, you can have auto suggestions, you can have so much cool stuff, right, of your terminal. But how do I get from just a terminal to something nice like what's commonly found on a site such as Reddit? There's a subreddit called Unix Porn, and if you just scroll through, like, let's look at the top in the last year. How do I, oh my gosh, I don't want, okay. How do I get to something like this? How do I get really nice sort of, okay, I don't know why I did this. This is clearly not the best idea. Maybe let's go in the last month. How do I get to, oh my gosh, something like this or something like this, or something like, I don't know, XMonad. That's probably not PG friendly for the stream. Oops. Something like this. How do I get to this sort of entire computer setup, right? And that's what we're going to talk about now. And I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff about window managers and what they are. So essentially, when we use something like, yeah, oh, Reddit. When we use something like VLab, or Windows or Mac, we're using a desktop environment, right? It has windows you can drag. It has a system tray you can have a look at. It has programs you can run. It has like buttons you can click. You can double click on things to run them. And this isn't working, which is great. Yikes. Come on. Actually, no, I'm going to wait for this to load. Come on, you can do it. Okay, never mind, it's not working. Okay, I'm going to... Right, okay, anyways, we'll just pretend that this is not what it is. So, is any of this important? No, it's not. Kill it. Right, so let's pretend this is this is my Windows computer. I just opened this thing, I have to move it around. I'm gonna move it over here. Oh, I want this one to be over here. I'm gonna drag it over here. I'm gonna make it take up half the space. Make this take up half the space. Oh, it's not quite half. This is really annoying. Hey, actually, you know what? I want like a third thing. I want like another Firefox window. Oh, it's in the back now. I'm gonna move that to be over here. But now these things are behind it, so I'm gonna have to move this to be up here. And this is like a common sort of workflow, right? Like when you start working on things, you set it all up. Most modern desktop environments have like snaps, where you can like snap it to this half or snap it to the top half, whatnot. I know Mac does it. I know Windows does it as well. But it's still like quite manual, right? A lot of the setting up. It also, there's like a bunch of other stuff that you can do with essentially a desktop environment comes pre-built with a bar at the top. You know, it comes pre-built with like a menu and like settings pages and a bunch of stuff that like you double click on, you interact with your mouse, and it'll do things, right? There is a different type of, that is a desktop environment. A desktop environment also has a window manager. A window manager is something that, you know, it manages these windows, like when they float, right? What program is making sure that those are behaving correctly, right? And that is the concept of a window manager. By default, I believe most things use what's called a stacking window manager, so you can just do things like this and it's fine. And when you create something new, like if I create a new Firefox thing, it'll just like appear like this, right? And so like switching through your things is it's quite difficult sometimes. Because they're all on top of each other and around each other and a bit gross. But this is, I think, called a stacking window manager. There is another type of window manager which is more and more popular with the Linuxy operate with Linux, and I think Mac as well can use this, called a tiling window manager. Now, tiling window manager is what we've been using all of today, right? When I create a new window, let's say like a new terminal, it creates it in this layout, right? Like a new one in this layout. I can also like change my layout, right? So let's change to magnify, which will highlight the currently selected window, or I can change to grid. You can see you got a nice grid. If I go enter, it created some new stuff. And so this sort of tiling window manager is really, really useful for I want to say productivity in big air quotes. I've personally found it's quite useful for me because I really enjoyed it. But also, more so than that, most tiling window managers are very, very, very customizable. And that's thanks to the lovely joy of Linux and open source software in general. But you can customize this to high hell. So, for example, if you want to make your own layouts and your own systems, you could do that. So there's a few different tiling window managers. For Linux, the common ones are like i3 or DWM or Awesome, DWM or Awesome. But my favorite one is something that is pretty cool, is called XMonad, which is a tiling window manager written and customized purely in Haskell. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through I'm going to be back in like 5 minutes. I'm going to get a drink of water. I'm going to switch users completely, not just my terminal, to a completely empty XMonad session, and we're going to go through setting it up to be customizable, looking like this and nice and pretty, as opposed to what it initially is, which is very ugly and plain. And we're going to go through some of the stuff like how to customize that, how to do things nicely, how to do things pretty, maybe for about half an hour, and we'll go through some of the pains, the pitfalls of how to do that. So I'm going to reboot into a different user, and I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'm not sure the stream dies when I reboot. I think it should survive, just there'll be no input, or there'll be like an infinitely loading. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's do this. Sudo pkill. Oh, right. So error. Cool. Welcome back. Except my audio. Oh no. Test. Test. Wait, can you hear me? It says my mic is still. Aha. That's concerning. It says my mic is still. Okay, cool. Phew. Alright. It says cool. My mic is still. Kid. Somebody else is on CSE soccer account. I get confused. I was like, why am I talking to myself? It's like, oh no, that's somebody else. All right. So, welcome back. This is an empty screen. Where did everything go? So, okay. So what we're going to do now is I have because I already have XMonad installed. I can't show you guys how to install it, but realistically, it's just like you have to just follow the instructions. It's not that difficult to install it. To set it up is a whole different scenario. So I don't know what the heck to do. Where's my menu? Do I have to press like command? No. Like where's right click? Right click does nothing. How do I open things? What's going on? Clearly I've figured it out because like I've got OBS running. But I don't know how to do it. So on my phone, because I can't open Firefox, I'm literally just going to Google XMonad default key bindings. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. XMonad, blah, blah, blah. Mod P, launch D menu. Okay, it's got the word menu in it, so I think that might be useful. So I'm going to Google on my phone again because I can't figure out how to use my computer. D menu. What is D menu? D menu. D menu is a dynamic menu designed to launch a number of user-defined menu items efficiently. Okay, so it looks like this opens some sort of it opens stuff. Okay, so it says to Alt P. Oh, that's the wrong window. Cool. So this is my this is D menu. So I got a lot of stuff here. I don't know what most of this is. I want to figure out how to open a browser. Let's look up Firefox. Oh, cool. Okay, enter. Okay, cool. Awesome. Wait, this is huge. What? Okay. I want to open a terminal now. Okay. So I can go. I know the Alt P opens D menu. Can I just run terminal? I'm gonna run terminal. Okay, cool. I've got a terminal. For some reason, my fonts aren't installed correctly. um, that's a bit of a yikes. That's really gonna annoy me, isn't it? Oh well. We'll just leave it for now. Unless I can go profiles, custom font. No font found. Oh, do I really want to do this? Okay, let's install the font. The font's called NerdFont, which is quite funny. Or the font system. Why Slack pings? Go away. Okay. Right, so let's go. Actually, probably best we're going to OMI0sh fonts. Blah. So this is fine. Like this is just normal behavior. We're not doing anything special for now. Font. Powerline fonts. Actually, let's go to the. Wait, this is not what I want. I want power level 10K fonts. My bad. Wrong thing. Cool. Install the recommended font. Manual font. Download these 4 things. Okay. Let's download them. Open with fonts. Install. Installing. Let's download these while I'm at it. So I can see that it's opening things in new windows. I don't know how it's doing that, but we can see that it's still in like the same sort of like it's opening in a new window in there's like a layout of some sort. Can I move it around? How do I can't move it around? No. Okay, don't know how this works. Cool. So let's just try and change the fonts now. Preferences, profiles, Meslo. Oh no, it's not showing up really. Oh, probably because I have to. Um. Oh, where were the fonts saved? Oh, for some reason they weren't saved in my downloads, which is awkward. So let's move all the fonts in downloads to the fonts directory. And then how do I kill? Whoa, how do I kill this? Will it close? Okay, that works. I think now if I close this and then go Alt P again and then go terminal and then go to and this doesn't work, I'll just move on and just ignore it. Oh, yay. Okay, cool. Select, close. Right, okay, cool. Fonts work now. Yay, we love fonts. How good are fonts? All right, cool. So we've got this stuff. I don't really know how to I only know how to open things, right? I don't know how to close things yet. I don't know how to move things around. It's sort of ugly. Why is there a red border? I don't know what's going on. So let's look up XMonad config. XMonad is blah, blah, Wikipedia. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, tips and tricks, installation, configuration. Cool. Create the XMonad directory. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Make dir.xmonad. File exists. cd.xmonad. What's anything in here? No, nothing in here. And make the HS file. After changes to the HS file have been made, use this shortcut to recompile and have them take effect. So HS is Haskell. So XMonad is written and modified in Haskell. So let's have a look. Oh my gosh, I don't really know what's going on here. Let's just find a thing we can use. Config archive. Let's find where we can just copy and paste. Template, the latest template. Okay, cool. This is looking good. Save the file. Cool. So we can just go move our terminal. We can go move downloads xmonad.hs to here. So to dot means the current directory. Let's go ls again. Cool. So xmonad.hs is there. So I think it said to use mod q. What is mod key in xmonad? What is that? Monad is a modifier key, which is alt. Okay, so that makes sense. We did alt p before, right? And that probably means mod and p. So because I think the monad English is hard. Because the mod key is alt, it said before to do mod q. So I did mod q. Okay, nothing really happened. So let's look at the file. Micro x1.hs. Oh, it's because it's empty. Brilliant. Oh no. Wait, was it really just empty? What? Okay, we should find one. XMonad darks config, because it keeps mentioning the word dark, so I'm not going to find one. Okay, this looks useful, I guess. I don't know what this does, but we can just do the good old copy and paste and find out. Okay, so let's save this and then go mod Q. Nothing too big changed. All right, so let's have a look at this. So XMonad customization, I'm not going to go through exactly like what it all does, but let's try and do a few things. First thing I want to do is I want to try and change the border to not be red, because that's a bit gross. This looks relevant. My normal border color equals #DDDD. Okay, cool. Let's change that to pink hex color. This looks fine. Actually, looks like light pink. Let's change that to this. Save, and then go mod Q. Oh, it doesn't look. Don't use config. True. We ignore the safety warnings. My focus border color. Wait, is it not changing? Oh, right. I shouldn't use this config at all, because it. That's annoying. So this config, as Shank just pointed out, doesn't actually work, because it's more of an example of overriding everything, and so it will cause a lot of issues. All right, so this is the basic config, light pink. Let's put this in here. Let's quit. It's still not changing, really? Oh, of course it's not changing. Wait, no, is it? Right. So what are we editing? Oh, okay. We're editing the wrong file. That would make sense. Nope. .hs for Haskell. And let's go back to steal that config file. And let's change the border color to be pink. Cool. I don't know what this is doing. I think this is just going to not work, so I'm just going to comment that out. Let's Alt Q. Okay, cool. Error. Error detected while loading XMonad configuration file. Pause on input, blah, blah. Why does the template have an issue? What? I did not see this point coming. Yikes. Base config, blah, 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 additional keys, mod mask, blah, blah, spawn, Firefox, list. Might be the quotes being weird. No. Is it a bracketing issue? Is there one too many brackets? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, yes, there is one too many brackets. Oh my gosh. Oh, my hook doesn't exist. That's why. Okay, so let's uncomment that. And error detected, indented or mismatched brackets, line 17. Probably because there's nothing here. Damn it. This is a terrible config. That's fair. It doesn't like what this is. I've got insert mode for some reason. Okay. Let's quit now. Yikes, it doesn't know what that is. Okay. Let's have a look. Layout hook, blah blah. I can just actually delete this part and then delete that part as well. That should work. Okay, cool. And now we have a pink border. Yay! Right, so this is our basic thing. I want to change this as well. I don't like Alt being the key, the mod key, right? So how do we change the mod key in XMonad? XMonad change mod key. I want to, yeah, okay, here we go. Using Windows keys as Alt key. This is useful, this is what I want. But blah, blah, blah. It says mod for mask. Okay, cool. So I guess this has already done it. Cool. And so I do mod enter. Oh, mod shift T. What is the spawn terminal XMonad? Mod shift return. Oh, cool. So mod shift return. So command. Oh, it's not on this one, is it? Oh, cool. Give me a second to just put this up. T1 slash. This would be really helpful, actually. How do I dash scr? What? Where is this? Dash. Okay. Well, yikes. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna get that working. And so how do I kill window XMonad? Let's have a look. Nicely closed windows. Control Shift Q to the whole thing, or Mod Shift C. Okay, so let's do Mod Shift C. Cool, that seemed to close things. Okay, cool. And I do Mod Shift Enter. It does it. Cool. So, how do I want to add some more key things, right? So here it says if I do mod mask with XKF1, it will spawn Firefox. I don't know what XKF1 is. I'm assuming that's just like my F1 key, right? So if I do mod F1, oh, that is not what I want to happen. Oh no. Oh, that was the wrong thing. Okay. If I do mod F1, cool, it spawns Firefox. So this is cool. Let us add key bindings to XMonad. Let's have a look. Config tips. This is a lot of stuff that I don't really care about. Okay, so in this case, let's just try and figure out how to do this. Let's just, you know what, I think, so we can probably presume this is a list of tuples, right? A list of two things. So let's do comma and then do, actually, probably better style is to do this. And let's copy it here. So what should we do? What should we spawn? Let's do, instead of F2, let's do F2 or F2. And let's spawn, do we have Carver in here? We do. I wonder if it'll work if I do spawn Carver. S and then I do mod Q to restart. So if I do mod F2, it does not do anything. Of course it doesn't, because it needs to do open terminal with command. Because this will run the script Carver, but Carver doesn't open any terminals to run it in, right? I need to open a terminal and run the command. So let's try xterm-e with Carver. So that's mod Q, and let's do mod F2. Cool. So you can see it opens now. When I just did mod F2, it'll open up a terminal with running Carver. So if I go to YouTube, wow, I don't know why I did that. And I just play something random.
This is based on a real call with a manager that uses Monday.com to run all their team's work.
So that's cool. And I do Mod Shift C. I sort of don't like this, do I? I want some sort of, I want to, it's so much effort to make my own thing. I wonder if somebody else just made a config file I can still. XMonad config file. Let's have a look. But blah. There's a whole bunch of ones here. Beginners to add to XMonad. Let's have a look at, I know one because I'm going to use this one because I know it. Dun, dun, dun. So there's this one that I've stolen. Where you can go. Where is it? Come on. Where is the actual link to the file that I can steal? Here it is. Cool. So there's a bunch of things here. XMonad.hs. Let's copy the entire. Oh, that's a file path. Let's copy the entire file contents and just paste this in. That's a lot of stuff going on here. But you know what? Let's just quit. And okay, cool. So there's a few things around here. We've got some gaps. We've got a bunch of so we can look at this. This looks to be a key thing, right? So we can recompile and restart with mod C for control, S for shift, and this format is called Emacs Emacs binding. Emacs is terrible, obviously, so we will never hear about Emacs again. Kidding. So this is called Emacs shortcut sort of syntax. So M for mod, capital S for shift, capital C for control, return for return. So here he's spawning. So you can use like spawn, then some sort of command, right? So this is a terminal command. I can write XMonad here -- recompile, and it will do that, right? I can also, any terminal command I can spawn through key presses, right? So let's say I had this. What's a good example? Let's say I wanted to run Carver, right? Like we did before, we can do xterm. Oh, that's a bad example actually. If I wanted to do, let's say mod. What's a good example of a key? Mod shift C will spawn xterm -e Carver, right? So now if I do mod control R to recompile. Oh, actually, mod control R and mod shift R, that has recompiled and restarted XMonad. So now I'm going to do my new key command, which is mod shift C, which of course doesn't work. I'm going to change this to be mod Q will spawn recompile and then it'll restart. So mod shift R. Okay, cool. So why isn't this working? Xterm -e. Okay. I don't know why that doesn't work. Probably because that key binding might be already taken. Let's try this. Oh, it is taken. Of course it's taken. Mod shift C is to kill something. What about mod control C? So mod control C. I gotta restart actually. Oops. That's probably taken as well. What isn't taken? What about mod shift S? Is that taken? So look, it doesn't look like it. Oops. So I go mod Q to restart, and if I go then mod shift S. Oh no, now Firefox is interpreting it. So okay, that isn't working for some reason. But essentially the point being that like this is a config, so we can change it however we want, right? I want to change the editor. I want to change the focus colors. If I want to change the border width, I can probably do that. You can see there's a bunch of layouts. Well, let's have a look. I don't know what any of this means. Spacing, blah, blah. These are layouts. So define a bunch of layouts, blah, blah. I don't really know what these do. So how do I change layouts? Let's figure that out. Blah, blah, blah. Let's look down here. Grid select. So what's grid select? Control G, G. Whoa, that's cool. How cool is that? Everyone open up, I don't know, some command, some program. I could do this. GT, which is go to selected, or I could do GB, which would bring a window onto my screen. What's the other ones that he's got? He's got mod tab. Oh, that changed the layout. Cool. That's what you can see there. Mod shift space will toggle struts. I don't really know what that means. Mod space will make it. Whoa, that's crazy. I don't know what that's doing. Mod control down will do sort of stuff. Window resizing, so mod H. Oh, that doesn't work. Mod H. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. And mod L. For some reason, it's not resizing. Mod J and K to change things around. Sub layouts, whatever that means. Scratch pads. If I go mod control return, doesn't do anything. Mod control C. Okay. Music player, he's got things. So, for example, if we wanted to do, player. Remember we talked about player CTL. If you want to do player CTL, play or this or next. Let's try this. So let's do mod Q to restart XMonad. Let's go to YouTube. What's this?
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly
advertising.
can help.
How good.
This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read. It undermines the writer's message, and the word choice is bland.
Put space around windows. That makes sense. Cool. So let's turn this down for one, and let's try use our player CTL thing. Let's just check we've got it installed actually. How do I open a terminal? No. Q. Player CTL. Pause. Player CTL. Play. Okay, that works. So what was our thing again? Let's have a look. Control F for player CTL. It's mod U followed by. Oh, actually no, we don't pause. Hey, just because it makes it easier. Cool. So let's go mod UP. Oh, cool. So it pauses, right? I think we can also change this to be play pause. Let's quit. Mod UP. Oh, JK. Mod UP. Mod UP. Okay, so it doesn't look like play pause works. Let's just do pause for now. Mod UP. We'll pause it, right? So the point of like a really good selling point of XMonad is that you can customize all your keys, right? And you can customize all this stuff. And I guess the point where it's like, this is really cool, right? I can make new windows, I can change my key bindings, and to actually make this worth like using, you sort of edit it a lot. So this person, whenever you run this sort of stuff, it has all these weird scripts that he's written, so you can write your own scripts and launch them. And so here, I don't really know what this is doing, but they've got a bunch of stuff that they do. Workspaces. So XMonad, like most things, have built-in XMonad, built-in like workspaces. So if I go Command 2 or Command 3, you can see I'm on different things, and you can see there's a different thing that pops up here for all the workspaces that I'm on, which is really cool. So I go back to Command 2. Oh, that's not it. 1. There you go. And so it's sort of annoying though, because I don't have a top bar. I don't know the time, I don't have battery power, I don't know what workspace I'm on. So let's sort of try and set that up. And a thing you could do called XMobar. Oh no, I don't have this installed, and it's a pain to install. Okay, we're not going to install it, but you can install it and set it up so it looks like I had on my other computer, and you can customize that as well. So we saw before this person had dot files for XMonad. I wonder if they have dot files for XMobar as well. Let's have a look. Config XMobar, cool. So they've got some config files you can steal, and I've stolen those, and you can edit them, whatnot. So like, I guess the big point there is this is a tiling window manager. This is something that a lot of people use for different reasons. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks, Shank. I didn't actually realize that. So Shank's talking about like down here we saw a thing here. Manage hook. If Firefox then or this, then do these specific things. Which is really cool. Another cool thing about the config stuff is you can launch things when you start. They spawn once. And And so, for example, you might want to spawn some daemons. Like for example, remember we talked about Spotify D or player CTLD. Those are daemons that run in the background. If you want to spawn those when you start, you can do this. You can also spawn like a welcome message or something. You can change the colors and you can change app grids. This person has like I think tree. I saw there was a thing that they had which was like would open some sort of tree. Where is it? Window navigation, grid select. Okay, I guess not. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to so that's like pretty much a tour of how we can customize things. It's a lot of copying, pasting, a lot of like editing things. I'm gonna go back to my cool. I'm going back to my actual computer, or my actual user, and I think we'll end it there, and I'll just like go through some of the stuff that I have in my config that I've changed and like why I used it and stuff like that. So let me just do that real quick. How do I log out? Sudo pkill -u test. That will kill me, right? Oh no. Oh, it is live. Okay, cool. Right. Oh wait, what? Oh, we are live. Okay, cool. That was weird. My preview was showing like the start of the live stream. I was very confused. But yeah, so we're gonna go through like a few small things, like just like we're done now for all intents and purposes, but I'm gonna go spend like a little bit on like what's in my config. And you can see I stole a lot of it. So if I go micro in dot XMonad export Haskell, you can see it's very similar config, right? It's the exact same, but I've changed a few things, right? So haven't changed the editor, probably should. I've changed a bunch of things to sort of do so. Backgrounds, how do you set the background, right? There's no like system preferences. I can't just open, well, I can now, but like before I had a thing that would let me do it, I couldn't just open system preferences, right? There was no preferences settings. Okay, there was no way to open it very nicely. And it was really hard to change the background. So I use a thing called GM screensaver and nitrogen. You can also see a thing called startup config. So what's startup config? If I go which startup config, I've got a thing here, user local bin. So let's go cat user local bins.config. So this is literally all this is. I kid you not. This is a script that I made, which just opens player CTL and it opens Spotify D, and it puts those in the background, right? So remember before I said you can open things upon startup. Oh, I did not answer the startup question. I forgot that was on there. That's my bad. Slido. Reopen in CSC sock, blah, blah, log in. Try to say ZSH by 1CS 2:57 PM. Oh no, apologies. User Z does not. Okay, I'm trying to change the CSH, but when I run CHSH, it gives me the error. User Z does not exist in etc. password. Okay, so you can't change CS. You can't do ZSH on your. I should have mentioned this. You can't do CHSH on your CSC computer because you don't have root access to change your shell. If you do want to change it permanently, you just have to send an email to ss@csc.unsw.edu.au, I think, and be like, please give ZSH lol. Obviously, don't say that. Say it nicer. Or what you can do, which is a bit of a trick, is that in your bash RC, remember that remember in your bash RC or your ZSH RC, everything you put in there is executed when the shell starts, right? So if I go to ZSH RC, if I go to the bottom, you can see that I've done, probably don't have anything here, but like if I wanted to, I could do something like echo hello. Okay, it doesn't work. Oh yeah, you can see when I run ZSH, it'll run the ZSHRC file, and it will run the code, which is it echoes hello. Alternatively, in your bash RC, you can just run exec ZSH, right? Which is a little bit of a trick. It does have performance issues, not really as good as. Yeah, I mean, it worked. It actually worked quite well for a lot of people to shank for a while in CSC. Until people started telling each other that they could actually change the shell by asking SS. It's a bad idea to do that. But if you're scared of emailing SS to change it, which I understand, that is a way you can do it. It works for the most part, but sometimes it will break really badly. Cool. So what else have I done? I haven't really used the grid thing. I haven't really changed most of the stuff to. I do like the fact that I can go control. Oh, actually, no, I can do the screen thing now. Although, for some reason, I got this thing which will show you the keys that I run. Oh no, what did I just do? Show you the keys that I run like on my screen, but it's showing on my left desktop, and I can't get it to show on my right desktop, which is annoying. So I'll just kill that, which is annoying, but I set that up. Yeah. Cool. So yes, I haven't used too much of the grid stuff, but it is useful for Control GB, which is bring something I have to this current desktop. So let's say I wanted to bring my YouTube Studio. I can just do Control GB and bring it there. I can go Control G on my other desktop. I can go Control GB to bring back the YouTube Studio stuff. I also think I can Command and click, and it'll remove that from the tile. And then Command T will put it back in the tile. Command Tab for a bunch of layout changes. You see here I've got a bunch of windows. If I go Command 3, I'll shift to Tutor 4, 5, 6, and you can see the highlighting at the top changing, which is really useful. I can also just click on them. Click a Tutor, click on Uni, and it'll change those things. I can go back to here. So that's really cool. I can see how many windows I have open with the 3 here. What layout I'm in, what window is currently being focused is in this top thing. So here you can tell what window is being focused. A bunch of stats at the top, a volume thing, which is really cool. Blah blah. What else have we got? Tree select. I think I disabled that because I didn't really like it. What else is useful here? Oh, what's my keys? Because they're the cool ones. Right, so these are some things I have. So if I do mod shift return, it spawns a script called myrofi. So what is that? Which myrofi? Okay, so again, it's in the place that we did, our custom scripts. So rofi is a thing where if I go echo hello, if I do this, it'll take this input and it will pipe it into the application called rofi, which will then display it, right? So here it's a bunch of cool stuff. I don't know why it's not showing the thing correctly there. Here you go. So for example, I'm echoing this stuff. I'm going to send it to rofi. I press enter. But this won't do anything, right? If I go shut down, it won't do anything. But you can see that it outputs the result where I pick, right? So if I pick suspend, it'll do this. So this is really useful. I can write a script, which I have, that will, when I run the script, it will simply run the rofi thing, which we just showed. And if the answer, so you can store the result of that in a variable. If the result I did was log out, it'll log me out. If it was shut down, it will shut down, blah, blah. And I binded that, if you can see here, to mod shift P for power. So mod shift P, and it'll open, oh, wrong thing. Oh, stop opening things, okay. Mod shift P will open this menu. And if I press shutdown, it'll shut down my computer because if I remember from here, if I do shutdown, it'll export shutdown, and then it will say this if statement, if chosen equals shutdown will be true, and then it'll run power off. So that's like one of the strengths of XMonad is you can you can assign scripts that you write to keys, and you can do things like that. You can do things like what else? Have I done any other ones that are useful? Oh yeah, my Rofi also has things like I can enter. Then I can control tab. I have a calculator, so 5 plus 6. Oops, 5 plus 6. I can go open a shell, so I can go SSH to something if I wanted to. I can then also SSH to something, blah, and it'll open a terminal that's SSH into CSE. You could also literally, yes, I did realize Jashank. So Jashank's saying that I should probably put these scripts for myself in my user directory, not my entire computer directory. I realized this when I was practicing for today's workshop, when all of a sudden it was running on my special scripts instead of like the default scripts. For example, when you run dmenu, it doesn't usually look like this, right? Or it doesn't usually look like Rofi dash dmenu or something. Okay, it's not working there. Oh, it's CSE. Rofi dash dmenu. It doesn't usually look like this. It usually looks like dmenu is just like looks like this. Okay, maybe not. Oh, I deleted dmenu. But yeah, so that's a good point. But yeah, so you can assign any key command to do any key combo to do any command essentially, right? I have things like switch focus to the next imperious monitor, so I can go command. You can't see actually, but you can see like focus disappear and reappear. Controls for my media player, so I can go play pause next, blah blah blah. I have this one which I made. So there's a program called Flameshot, which so I just googled, right? Linux screenshot program, and I was like, oh, Flameshot. So I installed Flameshot, which does this. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it opens up a window with a cursor, and I can just like move it around and press Control-C to copy, right? But if I want a screenshot, I don't want to have to run it in my terminal every time, right? I want a keyboard combo. So I was like, okay, if I do Mod Shift S, which is the Windows screenshot combo, please open Flameshot GUI. There is Scrot as well, but Flameshot is cool. I binded my media keys. The media keys are always like they didn't have this to start with, so my keyboard like play pause button didn't work. Also, my volume button didn't do anything, right? Because like the scroll off my volume that goes up and down didn't do anything. So I had to find another script, cat use local bin media, that if I went volume up, volume down, it would like change the volume. And I didn't write this; I just stole off the internet somewhere from this person. And so now when I go media my volume up, you can see the top right, the volume goes up 100, 200, blah blah. And I can go all the way back down as well. So that's cool. I also did print screen. Oh, that's cool. I forgot I did that. My print screen button will also do screenshot stuff. When I launch XMonad, please run this stuff and give it this config stuff. So that's called Xmobile, and Xmobile is the bar at the top. And I spent a while customizing my Xmobile. There's also other stuff. There's things like Polybar is another common one, which everyone seems to like. I might try and switch across to Polybar, but I imagine it wouldn't work as well with XMonad because they're like XMonad and Xmobile are close like friends, I guess. They work nicely together. It also doesn't have a system tray, so there's no like. Sometimes you want things like current apps that are running in the background. You want them running. See here, or like in how do I actually? I'm just going to Google it. System tray. With your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi and all sort of stuff down here at the bottom, right? You want this thing because you want to see what's running in the background, what's the status and things, blah, blah, blah. I don't have that currently. I think I want to try and get it done, but I'm also running out of real estate on the top. So I have a few options. Either I change this stuff and I make it smaller, or I just delete stuff like CPU, or I don't really need CPU stuff. It's just like cute to have up there. If I did want it though, I would install something like Polybar, or I'd install something like there's another. You can look up system tray XMonad to figure it out. Yeah, i3, but i3 has really good stuff as well. There you go. You can wow, yeah, but it's hard to do things like this sometimes because there's often not much documentation. You have to like troll through like Reddit threads and GitHub threads and a bunch of stuff documentation. So yeah, there's not really nothing special. It's in my XMonad config. It's just like stealing other people's stuff. Oftentimes I look at something like you can look at Unix one. I made sure I typed that in really carefully. And like if I really like something, let's say i3, Cinnamon, BW, SPM, Plasma. These are all the things people are using. Let's search for XMonad. If I really like something, I'll just look at their dot files. Cool, so this is something that's cool. So I want to see like what is their setup with the bar at the top, right? Here you go, dot files. Let's have a look. Also, he says panel, terminal, editors. I wonder if they've got anything special. So you can look through the stuff and see if they've got anything cool that might be useful to steal. Tint 2, panels, dock, and taskbar. Okay, let's look at that. Tint 2, there's some documentation. What is it? How to install it? How to use it? So it's things like this that you can just look at something and you can like put it all together to make the thing you want to do. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the talk. We started off with just terminal stuff, and I can see it on my left that once we got into the nitty gritty window manager stuff, it really dropped off because it's more of a really advanced thing. But the terminal stuff's pretty cool. You can do a bunch of cool themes and aliases, which is really fun. I like having my I can do CSC terminal, and my CSC terminal will have my nice bar when it loads. CSC servers are not having a good time. Yikes. Damn. Okay. Well, when CSC terminals work, it's also sometimes really nice to have it look pretty and nicely. The big issue I had when I was first using CSC stuff is that it was just too gross, too plain. I just made me sort of, I don't know, didn't want to use it as much, right? Compared to my own computer, which I'd set up nicely. So now it's like a lot easier to, oh, that's why. Disadvantage of having a big hairy shell prompt. Slow. Sometimes parallel 10K is pretty good. Sometimes though it's really slow for things like if you have a lot of Git information, a lot of job information, it's really, really slow, right? It can be incredibly impact performance. Sometimes it will give you wrong information. Sometimes it will be pretty bad. But for me, I'm not working with high sensitive information or high sensitive like projects where performance is a huge issue to me currently. So I haven't really had many issues in the last like year. I only started using XMonad like a year ago, or like OMZSH. Before that, I was using just like the default bash stuff that it gave me, and until someone was like, "Hey, you want to make it colorful?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to make it colorful." So yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. Are there any questions about anything? I'll give it a minute for the delay. I love how this thread is XMO vs Polybar, and someone's like, try this other one instead. Maybe I'll try Polybar at some point. Seems fun to have a look at. Okay. Well, I think I waited for the chat delay. I don't really know how long the chat delay is, so Paddy's Australian trade just works. Or does it? Taffy bar. All right, that's a good note. I'll look into that. Cool. Well, in that note, then, if there's no questions at all, I'm going to end the stream there. We were pretty much on time, half an hour over. If you have any questions or things, or you're stuck or you've broken your entire CSC terminal by trying to do this, feel free to message me and I'll take a look. Otherwise, I do have a blog post on this where it has like some of the instructions that we've gone through today of like how to do things. But this is only about terminal stuff, right? So with that being said, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for those who stuck around for the entire time. I hope you have a great day, and I'm going to end the stream now. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks to CSC Sock and Arc and whatever things I had to say legally at the end, but yeah, cool. Bye.